Hello and welcome. Today I want to share with you one of my favorite tools that I use to get basically endless reference pictures for landscapes and virtual plein air painting. If you're not familiar with virtual plein air painting, it's basically the digital version of going outdoors and painting in the field. So you can use a photo reference and do a digital sketch of the landscape. When I'm searching for reference pictures to use for virtual plein air painting, I like to use Mapcrunch.com. It uses images from Google Street View, but has an interface which lets you search through them in different ways. I'm going to show you the tools that I use most often to find more interesting and paintable scenes. So here we are at Mapcrunch.com. The first most basic tool you need to know about is the green Go button. You can just click this. You're going to get random places every time. Because this is using images from Google Street View, you're going to generally be placed on a road or some kind of pathway. Occasionally, you will be on a boat, which is kind of cool. So when you drop in, you can turn your camera view around. You have a 360 degrees. You can look in different directions. So you can find more interesting views sometimes by turning your camera angle and looking behind you. You can also zoom in, so you can choose to focus in on something in the distance. You can also walk around. So what I like to do is drop in and see if there's potential and then just walk around a little bit. I post a lot of my virtual plein air studies on socials, and people often ask me, like, how do you find these places to paint? Like I drop in and I get like the most boring side of the road every time. You have to look around a little bit. It takes a little bit of extra work, but it's not too crazy. Just when you drop in, like over here, I'm like, oh, this could be a cute little opportunity over here. We get closer to the house, there might be something interesting. So just exploring, just seeing potential, and then like walking around a little bit. I think there was another house over here. Let's see, go down this way and look back maybe. So something like that could be a good view. I think this is paintable, and this was definitely not what we saw when we dropped in here. Just doing a couple extra little clicks and checking down the road, you can already have a higher chance of finding something nice. So let's go a little deeper. You can go to the options here and you can select by country. Let's click here, Norway, for example. Then you can click go, and you're gonna get only images in Norway. Look how nice this is. Oh, I love the flowers. I mean, to me, this is definitely paintable. You could paint this scene, but I think maybe we could get a little closer to some of these houses. For me, this might be the one here. The sky's a little overexposed, but that happens with these. We can just walk around and add another country. Just, pick whatever, just click go. You're gonna get a random selection within those countries. You can also select these groupings up here, so you can get anything in South America, for example. If you click all, it'll select everything. You can click and it'll kind of take you back to clean slate again. Something like this definitely appeals to me. The shadows on this building, the light hitting there, the autumn look of the trees. This is a cool one. Okay, so aside from using the list, you can also search via the map for places, and I like to use this a lot. So the way that I use it is I generally like to zoom in to an area. Sometimes I'll pick areas randomly and just explore, but other times I'll have an idea like, oh, this is a pretty area, or I want to do something like tropical or something like that. So I'll find that sort of place on the map and zoom in. And then you can drag and drop this little guy in and see what you get. The downside to this is sometimes when you drag and drop, you'll also get images that have been uploaded. I try to avoid these because a lot of times they can be very edited and processed. I prefer stuff like this. This is with the Google Street View car. It doesn't have any filters on it or anything like that. So anyway, on the map, you can drag and drop. You can also click go. So this is what I love about the map view. If you click go, you're going to get sent to a random place, but only within what's visible on the map currently. I really like painting sunny scenes. So if I come into a place like this, I really like the feeling. If I zoom in, generally, it seems to be the case that the Google car will drive around one area, will be all done on the same drive. So if you like the weather, you can kind of zoom in somewhere around here and click go. Most of the time, you're going to get the same weather in this whole area that it was photographed on the same day. That's one thing I do to find spots with the kind of lighting I like. The map is great for that, and we can zoom out. You can make your area really big. You don't have to zoom in so precisely, and just keep clicking like this. So actually, I think that's a pretty nice composition there we just dropped into. That's kind of lucky. And I think it's fun to paint these sort of everyday scenes. Not everything has to be like a grandiose mountain landscape. You get to see places in the world that maybe you've never been or you're not that familiar with, and you're able to get a little bit more like slice of life images. It can be really fun to do. So if you want to go back to being able to get completely random places, you have to go back to the list view. If you leave it on the map like this, even if you collapse the map, it's still going to be applying this selection basically. So you have to make sure that you switch back to the list view. In this case, Japan is still selected, so we want to deselect that and then click go, and we're back to completely random. Wow, this is cool. Look at that windy path. I'm kind of interested in what's on top of this hill. So we can walk towards it this way. This is a lot of clicking. So you can go to options, we can go back to the map, we can scroll in, zoom in. And instead of clicking here and kind of going slowly, you can see the direction we're going in. You can kind of drag and drop this way, and you can kind of zoom up ahead a lot more quickly. So there's a couple more tools that I think it might be handy to know about. When you go to the options at the bottom here, you can be at the bottom of either the map view or the list view. You're going to see these little check boxes. So you can just decide here if you'd like to see urban scenes, for example, if you'd like to see indoor scenes. Stealth will hide the location information. So up here, you can click stealth to hide that information. Tour is going to automatically start giving you a 360-degree view. The tour is going to start turning the camera around for you. The one that I use sometimes that I find handy is auto. As somebody who sometimes has issues with RSI, I get pains in my wrist, and it's not necessarily great to sit here clicking through this website. So if you turn on auto, you can select how many seconds you want it to spend on each view. And then you can click go, and it's going to do sort of a slideshow, and it's going to automatically cycle through new views. It's going to give you new views every however many seconds. So right now it's on every 4 seconds. So I don't have to click anything, hands-free, and it's cycling through views. So if you want to avoid clicking a ton, you can set this at whatever speed you're comfortable with, and then you can just go up here and press stop if you see something that you like and you want to pause it there. Okay, so let's see if we can find an interesting spot. I'm just going to go back to completely random and just start clicking go. Oh, that's pretty. Look at those colors. There's so much good inspiration to be had here. You know, a lot of times when you look on Google, Pinterest, you do end up with a lot of the same places, again, like really popular places or even popular images that you've seen multiple times. I really love using this because you end up with more unique places, sometimes places that are very like simple everyday places that can end up being really beautiful. I like this a lot. I think this is paintable. This is something that you could do a painting of and really exaggerate the mood. You could exaggerate the sun coming from behind there. So let's say I decide I want to make a painting of this. I want to go up to the share button, and you can click this button here, download this street view as an image. So you click that and it's going to download this image into your downloads folder. So this is what it downloaded. It's a little bit cleaner in the sense that it doesn't have the Mapcrunch interface, but it will just download the zoomed out view. So if you had zoomed in a little bit to kind of make a crop that you liked, it won't retain that. It'll just download like the full image, and then you'll have to crop it again if you want that crop. So what I do a lot is I'll use the snipping tool. You can use whatever you like. This is just the Windows snipping tool. And then I will make my selection this way, make my crop this way. Let's try another one. Go a little bit wider. I tend to like to do this step right when I find something and I'm like, ooh, that's what I want. There's that little spark. I like to just crop it there and save it. So if you want to save the view to return to the 360 view, make sure that you click share, and then you want to copy this URL here. If you copy this URL from the URL bar, it's just going to take you to the main site, of course. So just make sure you copy from here if you want to actually have this view saved. One more little thing, when you click go and you're searching through, you can go back. If you press back on your browser, it's going to take you out of this. If you want to go back to the last view, you have to click this arrow here. Under the Mapcrunch logo, there's a little arrow back and forward. So you can click back and you can click forward. But if you click up here, it's just going to take you to like the last website you were at, and you're going to lose your view, and it's really sad. I've done that before. If you go back and then you press go, you can't go forward again to that other view. You're going to be in a new view. If you find something you like, make sure you're careful and you copy the URL and save it and everything before you go clicking out of it, because you might not be able to find it again. If you do find something really, really cool and you want to share it, you want to submit it to the Mapcrunch gallery, you can also do that. Press this button here, submit to gallery. You can put your name if you want. It submits it, I guess, as a suggestion to be chosen for the view of the day. The view of the day image is what you'll see when you come to the website. When you go to Mapcrunch, the view that opens, it's usually something interesting. If you want to see the past ones, you can go to the gallery. This is a good place to come visit if you're not having much luck. You can scroll through past views of the day. Sometimes they're paintable. You can click here to get the link. Okay, so now we are where that image was taken. So you can also walk around and find more places there. This is really cool mood going on here. You can also go options, map. You'll see where you are. You can zoom in. You can drag and drop and fully explore that area. So I think I've remembered everything. I tried to go through all of my most used tools. Let me show you a few of the paintings that I've done just to give you a feel of how I use these images and maybe give some inspiration. I tend to use them as speed paint studies. So I like to set a timer. Generally, I find around an hour and 15 to an hour and 30 minutes to be a really good amount of time that challenges me to keep things loose and not get too sucked into details, work on the basic fundamentals without getting too tied into like polish and stuff like that. So that said, sometimes I really like one of the studies, so I'll come back later and work on it more. A couple times I really fell in love with the painting and I ended up spending a lot of time and sort of turning it into a personal work. So you can even take them really far. But for me, the way that I most often use them is just for like quick sketches, quick studies, warm-ups, or things like that. Usually I use these for digital painting studies, but I've also done some traditional gouache paintings using these references as well. So with Plein April coming up, it's going to be the perfect time to do some virtual plein air painting. So I hope that you guys will find this useful for gathering some reference pictures for that. If you want to come hang out and paint along with me, I do a lot of painting on live stream on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Maddie. So if you want to come hang out there, I will definitely be doing a lot of these in April. Well, I think that wraps it up. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found this helpful. Enjoy your virtual plein air paintings, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.